When you head to the grocery store for this weekend's cookout, you expect to get what you pay for.
But the Call 6 investigators are learning that the fat content on the label of a package of beef doesn't always match what's in the meat. Call 6 investigator Rafael Sanchez has the results of his hidden camera investigation.
Take a good look. 2 samples of beef. Which of the 2 has less fat? Can you tell the difference? The less fat, the more you pay. And many of us depend on food labels to help make that decision. And we found that in some cases, you are paying more and eating more calories with no warning. The sound of summer. The savory smell.
I'm a red meat kind of guy.
But you may have a beef with the pricing of the patties on the grill.
If I'm going to splurge and pay for the premium, then I expect it to be the premium, not just something with a different sticker on it.
Between the burger buns, a variety of beef sold at different prices. The lower and leaner the beef, usually the more expensive it is per pound. But how do you really know you're getting what you've paid for?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. If that's what the label says, that's what you're paying for, then that's what it should be.
The Call 6 investigators went shopping for beef 2 days in March and April. Hidden cameras rolling, we visited 8 stores in Hamilton, Hancock, Johnston, and Marion counties. We bought beef of all kinds: ground, chuck, round, Angus, and sirloin. More than 45 pounds to be tested. We sorted.
We spent $6.05 on this packaging.
Packed and shipped it all to a lab in Idaho.
We'll get all of the fat out.
Analytical laboratories did the testing. The lab used a Food and Drug Administration approved process to figure out the content of our 24 samples. The findings? The amount of fat in the ground beef was not always the same as on the label. That means we sometimes paid a higher price for beef, and that would normally cost less.
If you're talking maybe a half a percentage, that's a difference. But if it's, 5-10% difference, that's a big difference for me and my wife, who's trying to watch what we eat.
Federal regulators allow for some wiggle room with the fat content, 20% difference from the advertised amount. So if a product is labeled 10% fat, it can have 8 to 12%. Of the 24 samples we tested, 10 had a fat content more than 20% over the label, and 2 were more than 20% below. But the samples we tested from Whole Foods had the greatest differences. The 3 labeled 10% fat tested between 13 and 15%. 3 of the 4 packages labeled 15% tested slightly over, and 1 significantly over. The 20% samples were very close or right on. When the meat doesn't match the label, you may be eating more calories than you expect and pay more than you should. For example, at Carmel Whole Foods, the 10% cost $7.99 a pound. But our test found it was 20% fat, which usually costs $5.99, a difference of $2 a pound. On the flip side, 2 samples from Kroger and Marsh tested with less fat than the 27% on the label. Labels are a big deal for people on special diets. Dietitians say they're especially key for someone with liver disease who may need a lot of fat to maintain muscle mass, or someone simply trying to maintain their waistline.
Fat provides a lot more calories than any other nutrient, like a carbohydrate or a gram of protein. So when you want to choose the option maybe that has less fat, because it has less calories, if you're looking at it from a weight loss perspective.
So many choices to grill.
Everybody grab a burger.
For many, taste comes first, while no one wants to be burned on buying a product they thought had less fat and calories. Now you're ready for your cookout. Tonight, some of the stores we visited are responding. Whole Foods says they would not intentionally misrepresent the lean to fat ratio in ground beef. The company points out it contracts with third-party certifiers to ensure quality standards, and it implemented additional testing at the stores we visited to ensure accuracy. Kroger says its policy requires that every batch of meat processed meet or exceed USDA requirements. And you can read the complete responses from the stores that responded to our story on the IndyChannel.com. groundbeef.com. We also checked ground beef at the major chains because they actually have to follow federal labeling requirements. Some of the smaller independent stores, like the IGA stores, are exempt from those rules.
Does the government check the fat content?
The USDA does check at the major distribution centers where the meat is put together per se, not at the individual stores. And the USDA is also going to be working next year on checking on the accuracy of the labels.
Maybe they should talk to you.
Well, we'll be watching.